Buckingham Palace confirms that King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer. The cancer was found during King Charles's recent hospitalization for a separate procedure. The palace released a statement saying during a recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate diagnostic test identified a form of cancer. His Majesty has today commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which time he has been advised by doctors to postpone public-facing duties. The 75-year-old monarch, who only ascended to the British throne in September of 2022, following his mother, Queen Elizabeth II's death, still remains Britain's monarch and head of the state as he receives treatment for cancer.
The British Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is in regular contact with the King. He took to X to say that, "I have no doubt he'll be back to full strength in no time, and I know the whole country will be wishing him well." World leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden, Canadian PM Justin Trudeau, Australian PM Anthony Albanese, and others have extended their wishes for the King's speedy recovery. Biden said, "I'm concerned about him, just heard about his diagnosis. I'll be talking to him, God willing." So the kind of cancer has actually not been announced. Some people thought it was prostate cancer because that was the reason he was there with talking to doctors, but it has not been disclosed. And obviously, the type of cancer matters very much for how serious, how grave the situation could be. We don't know. All we know is that he'll be stepping back from his duties for the time being.
Yeah, the non-disclosure of the type of cancer, I do think raises some red flags.
Yes.
I think we could all presume that if it were, a melanoma or something that was very easily treated with a very high success rate, we would have been told that. And so, the kind of tragic arc of King Charles's life, or the great irony of his life, is that he's someone who, by all accounts, really was looking forward to being king, really relished being king, happened to have a mother that lived for a very long time. Certainly nobody would be wanting to root against their mother's longevity.
Well, and took office at a very young age.
Exactly. And so now there's this weird irony that not only is he faced with this health challenge so soon after finally ascending to the throne, but there was this other aspect of his life where he entered into a marriage that was not a love marriage. He apparently always wanted to be with Camilla, who is now his wife, that there was this legacy in the family, this history recently of a to-be monarch choosing to step away from the throne for love. That was not a choice that King Charles made, and to have made that sort of a sacrifice and ultimately still not be able to be king for a very long time it's got a kind of tragic irony to it.
Well, he's 75 years old, which is people sometimes live to 90, 100, etc. But also people can have medical problems in their 70s. Many people I know, my grandparents lived very, very long lives, which I'm fortunate about. Three of the four did. But I have many friends and other extended family members. The grandparents, parents can have health problems in their 70s. So we're talking a lot, obviously, about the advanced age in our U.S. political context of a lot of our leaders, including our incumbent president and senior members of Congress. And it's a reminder that. People treat 70 as the new 80, but not for everyone,
Yeah, I mean, look, Queen Elizabeth was 96 years old when she passed away.
And her husband as well.
They do have some longevity going for them. And again, this is premature. We don't know what King Charles has been diagnosed with. And even terminal cancers often have, depending on the kind of cancer, a long tail on them. But it is just, I mean, obviously there's a sort of kind of prurient interest that the public has because of the celebrity that has come along with the...
Toby Keith just passed away. That was just announced yesterday of stomach cancer. And he was 62.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, because I think obviously the royal family is very famous, but the U.S. obsession and the global obsession with Princess Diana being immortalized in The Crown, which just ended. I mean, there's a lot of attention and focus on the royal family for a lot of reasons. And I do wonder if shows like that have affected the sentimentality that we might be coming to this with. Because the show really did try to make Charles into a more sympathetic figure than I think he was understood as being publicly. He was publicly painted as the villain in the Princess Diana story, the guy who wouldn't love her even though she was perfect and beautiful and the world loved her. He couldn't. The the show attempts to paint him as someone who was truly deeply in love with Camilla, and that it was his family that stood between them and basically forced him into this situation that ended up hurting Diana emotionally, and obviously her life ended in the way that it did. But it is interesting. I find myself reflecting on him very differently after the show, rightly or wrongly. And the show also attempted to paint him as someone who was more progressive than the rest of the royal family, who wanted certain kinds of reforms that the Queen was obstinate about, who really read the tea leaves, as it were, on changing attitudes toward the royal family and tried to do things about it.
Incredibly compelling performance from Dominic West, who is, I think he's just fantastic.
I'm a big fan. I really like. Well, that's what it was. We're all thinking of Dominic West and thinking, oh, I wish him the best, and maybe not necessarily focused on King Charles as much.
Cool. We also wish the best, obviously.
Of course, and we'll continue to follow any updates on this story as they become available.
Yes, for sure. That does it for us today. Tomorrow on Rising, Briahna and I will be putting on a full performance of The Lion King, and we were trying to pick who's going to be who. You want to be Scar?
I'm going to be Scar because that's the best song. The villain songs are always the best songs, but Scar's song is top of the heap.
Yeah, I don't like to sing, so I want to be Rafiki because he gets a staff to hit people with.
But follow Rafiki. He knows the way.
See, we have fun here, like you wouldn't believe.
I moved to Kenya the year The Lion King came out, so no one out Lion Kings me.
All right, that's fair
I was
enough.
ground zero for Lion King enjoyment.
I watched it about 1,000 times as a kid. All right, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are available anywhere that you can download and listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.
Take care.